anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We're going to bring you the best in pro wrestling. An interesting week. We're going to break it all down for you. Start getting ready for Double or Nothing down in Glendale, Arizona. Should be a great time down there as that card is shaping up to be, it's going to be a hoot. I'm looking forward to that one and a lot of other things happening coming up too. And we're going to get into it as quickly as we can here. So I'll tell you what, let's bring the boys on, shall we? First, from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, he was kind enough to have me on his show. Go back and listen to that podcast. From Austin, Texas, he is Stu Myrick. What's going on?
Oh, it's another beautiful Sunday here in the Texas capital.
Yeah, it was a miserable night in Las Vegas. That didn't help our EDC people. Not that any of them are conscious listening to the show. I'd be stunned. But, yeah, they had 2-mile-per-hour winds and a storm go through last night during the festival.
I get it. It's kind of like when we do South by Southwest or Austin City Limits Music Festival.
Yeah, 175,000 people per day for this thing. Unreal. And if we can get him to sit down, let's get Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum, who's strapping it in there. Coach,
strapping it in. It's a big Sunday. We're celebrating my kid's birthday today, so
okay. I thought
here,
maybe
there, and everywhere.
I thought you were going to run the F1 track there in Las Vegas, Coach Rosie.
I will be at the F1 race in Las Vegas, working with the nonprofit Culture City. But no, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
All right. So, of course, Coach Rosie from Ad Free Shows. Make sure you check out all the great programming they've got over there. Of course, Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan being busy. And we're going to mention something with Hulk Hogan a little bit later on in the show, as he is thinking about making a business acquisition. But we'll get to that in a while. First, last week, guys, when we were on the show, the news broke about the passing of ECW legend Sabu.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been some more news coming out of that. And I wanted to get into that first before we get into some of the other news of the week. Some pretty interesting things coming out of this. Of course, Sabu had his retirement match here in Las Vegas over WrestleMania weekend. So this was only about 3 weeks he passed away after that last match that he had at Joey Janela's spring break. And a lot of controversy coming out of this, that apparently, according to Joey Janela, that Sabu was pretty much incapacitated 2 hours before this thing was supposed to get rolling. He had said in an interview that he got a call that said Sabu can't walk. You mean he can't walk? Something with his knee, they're locked up. He can't walk. His feet are bleeding. He's not coming. Sabu's not coming. Well, then they got him what's called kratom, if I got the pronunciation right.
Kratom.
Kratom, excuse me. It's a tropical tree native to Southeast Asia at low doses, acts as a stimulant and a sedative at high doses, not controlled under the Controlled Substances Act. But once he got that, apparently he was flying all over the place and ready to roll. And
kratom, just to give you some background, kratom is what they give people when they get out of rehab, because it's like a herbal opioid. It affects the receptors the same way, and it's just considered an herbal Oxycontin or Percocet.
Yeah, so pretty interesting there that Sabu went from can't walk and feet bleeding to all of a sudden ready to roll And then Rob Van Dam also pitched in some comments this week. They are saying that they have not been able to do an investigation into his cause of death because of his wife. He never got divorced from Hitomi Brunk, and she doesn't want to do anything. And they've been trying to work with her to get her to sign some paperwork, because until she signs it, they're stuck. They can't do anything because they're technically still married. So Rob Van Dam is trying to go through a mutual friend to get this whole thing squared away. He also mentioned that Sabu was suffering from a stomach issue, but did not go to the doctor, and apparently said he said, quote, "I'd rather not. No, I'm scared to find out." So some pretty interesting things surrounding the passing of Sabu, Stu Myrick.
Yeah, and then there was word that came down that allegedly there was a Brett Lauderdale, who runs GCW, had a conversation with Joey Janela. That conversation would, I think it was framed, according to multiple reports, more like Brett Lauderdale chewing out Joey Janela. At least that's the impression I got. However, the specific details of that conversation have not been released. Look, it's one of those things. I don't think any of us would be too surprised if Sabu was under something, because to put your body through what he put his body through for decades, I think there had to have been some sort of chemical assistance, shall we say, to get him through that match in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and apparently he got knocked out during the match as well, and somehow got squared away when the Sandman came out. But yeah, it's Coach. This is going to be a little dicey, I think. You have to, and like Stu said, you have to question this a little bit with him being at the age that he is, what he's put his body through, and and then all of a sudden this happens. Maybe this stomach issue is a problem. We're not going to know for a little bit until this whole paperwork thing gets done. But boy, I'll tell you, it really does bring to question, should he have gotten in the ring in the first place, and whether it's it puts GCW and their guys in a bad spot, even if there was no wrongdoing or anything like that. I mean, Sabu was a grown man. He knew what he may have known what he was doing, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he was that hopped up, but he just, all right, I'm going to go. Let's go.
Are you ready? Okay. Now, I have firsthand knowledge because I shook Sabu's hand after his last match, because I was driving around the Hardy Boys, who was fighting in that fourth rope promotion that was after the GCW show. And with my own eyes, I talked to Sabu. He was lucid after his last match. He was in the locker room that Matt and Jeff were supposed to occupy, and he was holding court in that locker room to all the guys, young, old. Everybody came in and paid their respect. It definitely seemed like he was banged up, but it wasn't anything unusual that I haven't taught to any wrestler after a difficult match. I can't say one way or another whether he was under the influence or not, but to me, it was an honor to talk to Sabu that night, and he seemed like a guy that just got out of a very difficult match. So yeah. I don't know if it was a match that did it, whether it was a sickness. I talked to the Blue Meanie this week, who hung out with Sabu at the ECW arena for his last interview. Again, he said he was somewhat lucid. So without an autopsy, without this, that, or the other, it's all just speculation. And I don't think Joey Janela or Brett Lauderdale would ever put one of the icons of hardcore wrestling in any form of danger. They would, in my opinion, I think they would have rather have canceled the match than to put one of their heroes in harm's way.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. I think it's just the looks, Stu. I mean, that's the problem.
And what Coach Rosie said, maybe I'm imagining this, but I could swear I heard something that match was about to be called off about a month prior. Now, I can't remember if it was because of Sabu or maybe because of Joey Janela, because I know he was dealing with a shoulder injury a few months back. I believe it was shoulder injury. So maybe, again, I may be dreaming this, but I could swear I'd heard that match was not going to happen, and then all of a sudden it did happen. The other thing with the autopsy, I am not a doctor. I don't know medicine. I gotta believe, though, the further this gets along and the longer it takes Sabu's estranged wife, I guess we could say, to sign the paperwork, it's going to make that autopsy more
suspicious,
questionable.
Yeah,
because of the time that is transpired.
Yeah, so we'll see what all comes out of this, but once again, we lost a legend in pro wrestling, and certainly going to miss Sabu, who a lot of people have a ton of respect for, and certainly put his body and sometimes his life on the line doing some of that crazy stuff that he did.
Yeah, did you hear? You saw Taz's tribute on AEW Dynamite this past week, and I mean, Taz, one of the toughest men that's ever been in there, and he was flat out crying there at the desk with Excalibur and Ian Riccaboni, as he paid tribute to a man that, I mean, I would think is probably one of the most prevalent rivalries in ECW with Taz and Sabu.
Yep. So, well, we'll find out as time goes by on this one with Sabu. All right, we're going to step back, take a break, and then we're going to get into some AEW news. Check out.
See you guys next week. Come drive out to Phoenix. My wife's still having the barbecue.
Oh, I'm there, buddy. I'm there. But we're looking forward to AEW Double or Nothing. A lot of fun stuff happened at Beach Break and so much more. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN. We'll be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Let me ask you a little question here tonight. How many people here were raised on old rock and roll?
They're back by overwhelming demand. The showroom at South Point presents the Righteous Brothers. May 20th to the 22nd. Tickets at the door. Online at southpointcasino.com or charge by phone 702-797-8055. The Righteous Brothers at the South Point.
We're not leaving the stage, so we've sung every song we know.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, and we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM. The talk of Las Vegas. Along for the ride with me is Stu Myrick and Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum. We'll catch him at some point there. He's hanging around. And I know, Stu, you hit me something in the private chat, and I wanted to just mention these other health issues that popped up this week as well. A couple guys getting work done. Hulk Hogan had a neck fusion done and was apparently back at work the next day. So Hogan having surgery. Jake Roberts had a heart ablation procedure done, which helps him out with an irregular heartbeat. Apparently that was successful. Jim Ross was diagnosed with colon cancer, so he is going to be back fighting cancer again. So some pretty rough news for Jim Ross. And then a name that I remember from my younger days, Billy Jack Haynes. Billy Jack Haynes had been arrested for second-degree murder and illegally using a weapon, murdered his wife. He was judged not fit for trial, and he has been sent to the Oregon State Hospital. So Billy Jack Haynes, not a good ending for him. But wow, Stu, this is not a good week for the veterans.
Yeah, I'll speak about Jim Ross first, and look, I think anybody that's been a wrestling fan for any amount of time considers Jim Ross. I mean, and they announced him as this in AEW as the Hall of Fame voice of professional wrestling, and that's true. I mean, look, I go all the way back to the days of Mid-South Wrestling when he was there. I actually had the honor of interviewing him a few years ago when one of his books was coming out, and I've met him a couple times backstage AEW, and we'll talk, and obviously, conversation will turn to the Texas OU rivalry because, of course, he is a faithful Sooner, which is the only knock against him. But all in all, Jim Ross, among the greatest commentators in wrestling history. And so, I think he's got surgery in a couple weeks. So just, you wish Jim Ross all the best. I think he's 72 now. So Jake Roberts, the heart ablation, sounds like he is on the road to recovery, and it looks like a good recovery. So good for Jake Roberts, another individual that I've had the pleasure of, meeting in person and interviewing. And I really quick story. The very first interview I ever did on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling was Diamond Dallas Page over the phone. And so we're going, and you've interviewed Diamond Dallas Page. So, you ask a question and he'll go for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a wind 'em up guy.
Especially on a radio show. That's a lot of time. So, we're going along, and all of a sudden I hear Dallas say, "Hold on." And I just heard somebody's calling. He said, "Hold on, Jake's calling." So the line goes dead for about 10, 15 seconds. He comes back and he says, "Hey, Jake, are you there?" And it was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Nice.
So I actually had Jake Roberts there. And then, like I say, a few weeks later, we had a long form interview. So wishing the best for Jake the Snake as he recovers from his heart surgery.
Yeah. So wild week in terms of health and well-being for a lot of our favorites. Well, let's get to what happened going over the week at AEW. As well, we had a lot of fun at AEW Beach Break. Some entertaining matches and a pretty wild finish at the end and a surprise. But, the first one I got to get to, man. Did Zach Gowen look great or what? Zach Gowen was fantastic taking on Ricochet. I mean, Ricochet doing his thing. He's becoming the best heel in the business, and no doubt about that. But got to give Zach Gowen credit. What a night for him.
Absolutely. The spot where Ricochet starts trying to do the figure four, and then realizes,
he doesn't have a leg.
There's not a second leg for him to wrap around. That was priceless. So yeah, good on Zach Gowen, showing he can still go after all this time.
Yeah, and then Gabe Kidd showing up during the main event with Samoa Joe and AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. And Gabe Kidd, I got to tell you, I saw him at Bloodsport, and that guy has just charisma oozing out of his pores. He is one sensational wrestler who is only going to get better. And now he's somehow landed in AEW, and he's going to be looking like in the Anarchy in the Arena match. They haven't quite announced that lineup yet, but Gabe Kidd getting into this thing too. That's exciting.
Yeah. The whole Gabe Kidd thing. First of all, Gabe Kidd, good friend Simon Miller will always talk about whether Eddie Kingston ever believed that, wrestling was, legit, real or genuine or whatever. I think Gabe Kidd's in that conversation as well. He's fantastic. I didn't get the inclusion of Gabe Kidd though, because it seemed a little out of just left field. It was fine. The other thing is, so yeah, the way that match finished with the briefcase shot to Samoa Joe, and then everybody runs down and Swerve says, we want, Anarchy in the Arena, which is fine, except we don't really know who's in the match. I mean, we can surmise based on who was out there, but isn't that usually a 5-on-5 match? There's a few pieces missing. I think, Elite and Death Riders had one person too many, and the baby faces had one person too few. So they're going to have to work that out. And we still don't know, even after Collision, which, by the way, got cut, about
we're getting there.
Of it got cut off because of, quote, transmission issues at the studio, which, again, kind of makes me scratch my head considering it was a tape collision. But nevertheless, I'm Anarchy in the Arena is always a fun match, and I guess we'll get the confirmation on Wednesday on Dynamite as to who's in Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, Coach Rosie, who I'm hearing at this point through some of the research I did, Swerve, Kenny Omega, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Willow Nightingale against Moxley, the Bucks, Marina Shafir, and Gabe Kidd.
That's what I heard. I heard that the women will get their shot, and that'll be weird if there's any men that's hitting women. I won't like that. But I like the premise of the match. It's always fun. It is a little bit less fun watching it in the arena because you can't see as much. But for the people at home, it's a fun match.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those being here in Las Vegas, and it is a little hard to keep track of in the arena unless you light somebody on fire or you hang them upside down in the middle of the ring. Then you can see what's going on. But I don't know what they're going to do top last year, but we'll see.
On the Death Riders side, what about Claudio? What about Yuta? On the babyface side, what about Speedball Mike Bailey? Where's Okada? And I think we saw Okada come out, and then Speedball came out, and they kind of fought to the back. And who knows? That might be, maybe that's going to be a match. Maybe Speedball challenges Okada for the Continental title. But again, what about Claudio and Yuta? Because they're part of the Death Riders. Why are we leaving them out? Just insert Gabe Kidd and Marina Shafir. It just, I don't know. It's, again, yeah, we've heard reports, but I don't know for sure. And like I said, you're leaving two of your active Death Riders out of the match.
Give them a break. It's all good. Maybe they'll do another match. But there was another thing that happened, that MJF has finally gotten his approval to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley finally gave him the thumbs up, but we have a contract signing next week for MJF to join the Hurt Syndicate. Is the swerve coming, Coach Rosie? Is MJF going through about 7 tables, and is he going to get hurt by the Syndicate? What do you think, Coach?
They have to have some more matches. They just announced a stretcher match with a couple guys. But, yeah, I do think MJF is getting swerved. It's about time he got what's coming to him. And I think about 3 or 4 chairs would be worth it. Since he didn't get his program with Jeff Jarrett, I think a good ass whooping by the Hurt Syndicate is just what MJF needs.
Wow.
Which will get things going down the road for All In.
Stu, should MJF be in the Hurt Syndicate?
No. Look, okay, you're in a contract signing on Dynamite on Wednesday night. We all know how contract signings go in pro wrestling. Doesn't matter the acronym. Yeah, there's gonna be some sort of shenanigans, and Lashley and Benjamin are gonna, just pummel MJF. The thought that comes to my head is how much does that change the fan reaction in Max, because the fans already kind of cheer him? Does that make him a more sympathetic figure? It's kind of odd because Max, he's been a heel. He's at one time he was one of AEW's best heels, but now he's getting at the very least a mixed reaction. Does whatever happens on Wednesday, does that push it further into a babyface reaction?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all these guys, the lines in AEW are so blurred, and people are cheering, or really been cheering the Hurt Syndicate, but they love Max too. So, I would love to see an MJF Bobby Lashley match. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, you got a dynamic there that is, well, shall we say weird? We'll just say weird.
And again, you say love to see MJF and Bobby Lashley. That'd be great. So you can't do it at Double or Nothing, because Bobby and Shelton are defending the tag titles against Dustin and Sammy, the Sons of Texas.
Yeah, which by the way,
honor World Tag Team Champions.
That was one of the matches, that qualifier match, that got lost in the broadcast issues that AEW had, and that's the last thing I'm going to mention. In terms of what happened this week in AEW, what a weird situation to basically lose a half hour of your show. And I hate to say it, but I think somebody hit the erase button. What explanation do you have for that? Because they said, well, it'll be back up for the West Coast feed. So if there was an issue, it happens. But if it happens twice, I think that something got lost. To me, that's the real explanation, and then worse comes to worse, by the way, that they had Black Adam filling in the spot on the West Coast, a Rock movie.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson, not one of Dwayne Johnson's best movies, but yeah. So I was at Q2 Stadium here in Austin, covering Austin FC taking on Vancouver, and I'm following along on Twitter or X, whatever. And then all of a sudden I see Tony Khan tweet, sorry, a transmission issue with the studio, which I'm going, okay, hold on. It's a taped collision. They taped it on Thursday night. Or actually, I think they taped it late Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was on, I think it was on Wednesday.
How in the world do you get a transmission issue on a taped show when you've been doing this forever and ever and ever. It didn't. I'm going. There's something weird, something kooky, and yeah, you miss out on a good half hour, the last half hour or so, but it was fine for the West Coast feed. So 2 hours later, it was fine.
No, yeah, we didn't get it either.
You didn't?
No, we did not. That's
Okay.
the really strange thing about it. That last half hour didn't air here either in Las Vegas.
Really?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the message Tony put out, was that the West Coast feed would be in its entirety, whatever, and of course it'd be, available on Max. But if y'all didn't get it, it's kind of like, okay, what's going on with TNT? Did a hockey puck hit the transmitter or something? I don't know, because they're airing the NHL playoffs. Go Stars! But yeah,
Coach, you hear anything about this? What'd you think?
I'm just glad the Megan Bain Anna match wasn't the one that got cut off, because that was a tremendous physical execution of moves. But no, Collision doesn't get a lot of my viewing time, so I missed it. And does it sound like a conspiracy? No, it just sounds like another hiccup for an organization that's known to not dot all their I's and cross all their T's. They make a lot of rookie moves, and it's unfortunate. But as much as I like Dustin and Sammy, I don't know how the winner of that match is even qualified to be good enough to go against the Hurt Syndicate. So it wasn't a huge loss for me.
Is anybody qualified to go against the Hurt Syndicate?
As of right now, no. And
No.
look, Dustin Rhodes is a dear friend. I work for him. I've called Sammy Guevara's matches, plenty of them here in Austin for Inspire. I've known Sammy for as long as I've known Dustin, and I consider both of them friends. But yeah, it's the Hurt Syndicate. They're on a roll, and I don't think there's a tag team in AEW right now that could touch them.
Yeah, I mean, even the Bucks or anybody like that, FTR. Yeah, these guys are just so over. And boy, I'll tell you, Shelton Benjamin is wrestling like he's 25 years old. Unbelievable what he is doing out there. And boy, WWE probably wishes they had him back, don't they? But Double or Nothing, right now we are at 7 matches on the card. And I want to just talk about the card real quick before we head to break. Hangman Adam Page, Will Ospreay in the... Oh, I'm sorry, it's 5. Pardon me. Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay in the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament final. Winner gets a shot at the world title. Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné in the women's final. The Hurt Syndicate will be taking on Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. And FTR are taking on Daniel Garcia and my guy, Nigel McGuinness. That'll be fun.
There is 6. Ricochet, Mark Briscoe in a stretcher.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot that one that hasn't been listed yet on my listing, but yes, that came up as well. So 6 matches on there, guys. This is gonna be, and we get Anarchy in the Reno, which will take up about 30 to 40 minutes of time there. It's gonna be a fun night. That card looks to me pretty loaded, maybe somewhat predictable, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, Coach.
It's going to be fun, but a lot of people are saying Hangman's going to win. What do you guys think?
No way.
Because of the whole Texas thing. I've heard from some people I respect that they think Hangman's going to win, but I don't.
Hangman Adam Page he's from West Virginia. He's not from Texas.
I know, but the whole cowboy belt and the boots and everything, I get that. But how they want to lean into it. Again, that could have been a stretch, but I think Will's going to win.
Yeah, I think I'm still going to put my money on Will Ospreay. It's funny that up until this past Wednesday, we only had 2 matches: the men's and women's finals, the Owen Hart Foundation Cup, and now all of a sudden we've got half a card. I'm sure we'll hear more on Wednesday on Dynamite. I think Collision airs Thursday this week. Am I right? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think you're right. So So I'm sure we will get, most of the card lined out by Thursday. Not to mention, we've got the Tony Khan media call Thursday afternoon, so we'll hear about it some more. But it's so funny that all of a sudden they came up to Wednesday, basically a week and a half out, and said, "Oh, we got to build a card." And so here we are.
Well, that's the way Tony likes to do it. But WWE does the same thing. I mean, they added a bunch of matches late for WrestleMania.
Well, they did, but they started building a little sooner. I mean, this is kind of par for the course for Tony. He'll wait until 2 weeks before, and then all of a sudden decide, here's the card. I do wonder. I mean, they're not on the same night, but it does seem like he's still trying to. Tony's probably thinking a little bit about what's going to happen in Tampa with a Battleground. I guess is that Saturday night, or Sunday night. Saturday night's main event is Saturday night, of course. Battleground on Sunday night, where you got the TNA title up for grabs. So there might be a little bit of like, okay, let's load the card to make sure we keep our fans on Double or Nothing and don't have them switch channels.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll get to this. I'll tell you what, I'm going to save it for a break. We're going to talk about WWE scheduling on top of AEW on a consistent basis. Why are they doing it? What's the point? Is it good for the fans? And do the fans really care at all about that? So we'll hit that when we come back here during hour number 1 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM Talk Las Vegas. By the way, we're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook. If you want to join in the fun, you can get in there and send us comments, your thoughts about everything that we're talking about. Just go to the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube and Facebook, or at Mark Hoke Show on X, and join us. We would love to hear from you. Stu Myrick, Coach Rousey, and me. We'll be right back.
Are you purchasing or leasing a new vehicle and need some extra cash for a down payment? Dollar Loan Center has you covered.
Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center.
Getting a new vehicle is always expensive. Down payment, registration, insurance, title, and tags, it never ends. But Don'tBeBroke.com can help. At Dollar Loan Center, you can get a signature loan up to $5,000, and you get your money the same day. Actually, you usually get it in around 30 minutes. It's that quick. And unlike your car loan, less than perfect credit is the norm at DLC. Stop by one of our 60 locations, apply over the phone with a real person, or online at don'tbebroke.com from the comfort of your smartphone.
Dollar Loan Center.
Dollar Loan Center has you covered.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Subject to approval. Limitations may apply. See website for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's return to the pro wrestling action here on KDAWN 1015 FM. Talk of Las Vegas. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us as we bring you all the news that's fit to print. I don't know. Do we print anything anymore, Stu Myrick? I'm not sure.
I think the Austin American Statesman still sells print editions. I see their ads every now and again, but I mean, I use digital.
Yeah, I think.
Now, I will say a former radio colleague of mine, Bucky Godbolt, he still gets the print newspaper, and he'll bring it. So we used to do high school football together. He will bring the paper with him, and that's how he does his prep. He does his prep when he was doing morning shows back in the day, using the print newspaper.
Interesting. Well, now, before we left, we were talking about NXT Battleground, Saturday night's main event, and everything getting scheduled on the same weekend as Double or Nothing. And guys, do people really care about when a card gets scheduled on the same day or pretty close to it? I mean, even if WWE runs something on the same day that AEW is running a pay-per-view as an example, are you just going to pick one, watch it, and watch the other one later? It's not like it used to be where if you scheduled an event on top of an event, you weren't going to be able to get to see it again. So does this kind of stuff, I mean, I find it to just be petty. I really do. Just pick another weekend and let everybody enjoy your product instead of having to split the audience. What is the point of this, Coach?
Hey, man, it's competition. I would turn a kid in if I found out he had bad grades and put him on the ineligible list if he was scoring 40 a night, or if I felt threatened by him. So, but the thing is, I don't think it works like it did back in the day, because, I mean, if a company, like on the day that they have scheduled bulk, I might watch one on Twitter just to watch the clips while I'm watching one live. In this day and age with technology, people have multiple monitors going, people have their phone going, their television going. So realistically, you can consume them at the same time. If not, you can definitely stay abreast of what's going on at any moment of the day because the information is so fast.
Yeah, Stu, I mean, Battleground is on the 25th, same day as AEW Dynamite or AEW Double or Nothing. You've also got Saturday night's main event that weekend on Saturday night. So, man, why not just let everybody enjoy pro wrestling and be a fan, and then you'll wonder why everybody's being tribalistic. You shouldn't have to choose in the immediate moment. There's no reason for it. And I think WWE is just trying to do it to maybe skew some numbers against AEW in the immediate time frame that the show is originally going off. But, Stu, quite frankly, and if there's a pay-per-view or premium live event against another event that I can go back and watch anytime, I'm watching the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, look, I get it. I get Triple H for all the positives that he has performed. Let's not forget, he learned under Vince. And Vince didn't want anybody around. He wanted to be the only game in town. And he was for a long time. It is silly. You're right. You got a pay-per-view versus something I can watch on Peacock whenever. Now, the other kicker is the pay-per-view I got to spend $50 on. Peacock, $10 a month, or whatever. I forget what it is. Something like that. But but still, it is silly. Look, All In Texas is set to start in the afternoon because there's allegedly a WWE event that night. I'm trying to find it, but I don't think it's there. But there are reports that there's going to be a WWE event the night of July 12th.
Oh, see, what's the point?
Which is All In.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Why would I just don't get it? Why would you divide your audience? Why would you want to do that? I want to get as many eyes on as I can. I remember, I mean, this is then we're getting the member burries out here, but I remember when I believe it was Starrcade and I think it was Survivor Series.
Yes.
When they first started, were on the same night. It was Thanksgiving night, and then things changed because they realized, well, this was dumb.
Well, it wasn't because they realized anything. It's because Vince threatened pay-per-view providers, the cable or satellite. He threatened them. Look, if you run Crockett stuff, you're not getting WrestleMania. And that was his thing. And that's why they had to move Starrcade. Starrcade was a Thanksgiving night tradition when it from the very beginning, going all the way back to Race and Flair. But Vince put pressure on the pay-per-view providers to run his show rather than Crockett's show, and that's how that again. Triple H learned from Vince. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the fans. Like, for example, over in Europe, they scheduled a European tour right around Forbidden Door, right around it. They've got, I think, 4 events over there that week, and there's only so much money that can go around, and WWE's charging. I just think, look, you can go the next weekend. What's the big deal? What is the big deal? So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not the one sitting in the room, but
by the way, that event, it's Road to Clash in Paris, Sunday, August 24th at Newcastle upon Tyne in the United Kingdom. So just down the road from London.
Same day?
Same day.
Jeez.
Wow.
Why?
Now, you don't know if TKO is putting pressure on them either. I mean, they really are bottom line. It wasn't this extreme. Maybe they would correspond, have the same date once or twice, but it does seem that since TKO has taken over, maybe that's just their whole business mindset. I don't know, but I agree with Stu that
this
when
was
you're cut
happening
from a learning tree, you kind of do the same thing.
This was happening long before TKO took over, though. I mean, it was Vince 101.
Yeah,
but it's the Royal Rumble was created to take care of Clash of the Champions as well.
Yeah, it's just I'm sorry. I think it's silly, but NXT Battleground is going to be a fun card. It's Obafemi against Miles Bourne. Stephanie, of course, taking on Jordan Grace. Joe Hendry's defending the TNA World Championship against Trick Williams. And now we have Tony D'Angelo against Stax. Channing Stax Lorenzo, as that family has split apart. So it's going to be a fun night for NXT, but yeah, I'm going to be planning on being in the building down there for AEW Double or Nothing. So forget about NXT for a while. Sorry, Trips. Not this time, pal. Not this time. Oh my God. But hey, before we go to break, I do want to remind everybody real fast, if you haven't gotten your hotel reservations for Double or Nothing, hey, go to thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show. I've got hotels on here right now. I'm looking at $44 a night and just a hair up.
Where
you can sign up right now.
I can confirm their quality.
Well, I can give it to you later, Coach. But some great deals on there. Go to thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show, and you can get hotels all over the world, really. And it's fantastic site, powered by Priceline. Get employee pricing, that mystery pricing without playing the games. Just go to thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show. All right, we come back. We're going to dive into WWE. all the news that's fit the print over there, and I'm going to start a fight with everybody. It's going to be fun. Coach Rosie's clearing out. Coach,
See you later,
we'll
guys.
talk to you soon. Make sure you check
Yep.
out adfreeshows.com. And we'll see you on the
please
other
do.
side of the break. Give us a follow at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. And that's all you got to do. Just Google Mark Hoke Show. We got you. Stick around, everybody. Hour 2 coming up. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. Nevada's desert water is some of the worst in the country. It's tough on your skin, your hair, and your home. Most people turn to old-fashioned salt-based softeners, but there's a better way. With LifeSource, you get clean, conditioned, and healthy water from every tap. No salt or expensive maintenance. Just fresh filtered water that protects your family and your appliances. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
Enjoy Jerry's Nugget Steak and Shrimp Special for only $16.89. This combo is a taste sensation. Come savor the goodness as you slice into a juicy 8-ounce New York steak cooked to order. Then let the succulent, freshly prepared pan-fried shrimp melt in your mouth. So good. Jerry's Steak and Shrimp is served 7 days a week, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and comes with a choice of soup of the day or house salad, choice of potato, and garlic bread. Bring the family and enjoy.
Jerry's Nugget Casino, your kind of place.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetchatech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And you know, I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetchatech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetchatech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call Fetchatech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call Fetchatech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetchatech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech and we'll come a-running.
Fetchatech, service that's a freedom part.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Lowe's knows that no matter your paint or stain project, saving is at the top of your to-do list. Save now with buy one, get one half off select paints, stains, and primers from top brands like Valspar, HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, and Cabot via Visa gift card rebate. Find more Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 5/15 through 5/28.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
The Brooklyn Bridge still standing after a ship collision. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The historic span rammed by a tall ship of the Mexican Navy last night. Fox's Chanley Painter reports at least 2 people were killed, 17 others hurt.
Officials say the Mexican Navy tall ship with 277 people on board, including sailors, hit the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge around 8:30 last night. The 2 people who died were crew members who reportedly fell from one of the ship's masts. Video shows the ship's 3 masts slamming into the bridge as the ship floated on the East River, leaving some sailors dangling from harnesses high in the air waiting for help. It was an emotional scene last night as crowds cheered and thanked emergency responders after they quickly transported all the victims to area hospitals.
Dangerous storms brought tornadoes to communities across the country over the weekend, leaving more than 24 people dead and a path of destruction. Fox's Garrett Tenney is in hard-hit London, Kentucky.
You can really get a sense of the devastation this tornado left behind as it ripped through this community, including this home where a grown son came to check on his parents right as this tornado was hitting. They were here in the hallway when the son heard the roof starting to get ripped off of the home. He tackled his mother into this bathtub. This bathtub is the only part of this home that has any semblance of still standing. That likely saved their lives. The father, he was in the hallway right outside of the bathroom. He got tossed 20 yards from the home out to the road. Miraculously, he survived.
Kentucky's State Emergency Management Director says hundreds of homes were damaged. Another round of severe storms expected to hit parts of the plains. Pope Leo XIV inaugurated as the first American pope today, offering Mass in St. Peter's Square, drawing tens of thousands of people, including Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Americans listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Get your daily dose of news with a Fox News Rundown. A contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Going far beyond the headlines. Tomorrow morning at 5 on 101.5 FM KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Man, I'll tell you what, pro wrestling has just been so incredible lately, and we're very happy to have all of you joining us, whether it is on KDAWN or on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you don't have that app, download it now and your phone will work better. I promise. Maybe. But you'll be happy you did. Great shows on there from KDAWN and from around the world, including my cohort Stu Myrick's show, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, also on the Odyssey app. So go get that right now, AUDACY. And of course, you can also join us on our live stream at Mark Hoke Show on X and the Mark Hoke Show on Facebook and YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. Fire those comments away. Let us know what you're thinking, as we have always get some interesting thoughts coming into our chat box. Stu Myrick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been, always love to hear from the listeners and, getting into what's happening in WWE this past week.
Yeah, this was, it was all right. Nothing too spectacular, but we had, let's see, I'm just kind of running down here. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton had a little title match. And Stu, I want to get your insight on this, and I wish I had Phil Stamper here to talk about the technique of holding a chair, because I have a feeling that chair Nia Jax was holding, she was holding a little too low, because Tiffany kicked that chair right off her melon. It rebounded, smacked her, and she was busted wide open.
Yeah.
in that match. So Nia Jax finally got hers a little bit, I guess. But Stu, I mean, can you vouch on that a little bit? Because Nia looked like she was holding the chair down on the legs. And when Tiffany kicked it, if you're not holding it in the middle or higher, I mean, I've never wrestled, so I can't say for sure, but
Right.
just physics, if you're holding it too low, it's going to be able to move a little more towards you when it's get kicked at you, thusly bouncing off Nia's skull.
Yeah, you'll catch one of the lips either on the seat part or on the back part, and she had a pretty good gash. If I remember correctly, it was on her right, the right side of her forehead. Now it was towards the end of the match. In fact, it looked like they went straight to the finish so that they wouldn't show Nia Jax bleeding. And you didn't see her once the pinfall happened. That was it. Nia Jax was off camera. Now she shared a couple of photos on Instagram. And she got color the hard way, as they say.
Yes, she did.
But it was a serviceable match, I guess. It was kind of one of those things where you wonder if maybe they're running out of contenders for Tiffany Stratton. Now, you got Julia, I believe, is now joined the SmackDown roster.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about why.
That'll help things a little bit, but I mean, to go back to Nia Jax, that was and I don't know how well the Flag Bearer, a babyface run, has been going for Tiffany Stratton. She seems better as a heel, and I don't know if fans are really connecting to her or not.
Yeah, I think it's going okay, but yeah, you just feel like she's got more of a personality to be a little bit of a wench around there. So, we'll see how that turns out. But she successfully defends her title. But you brought up Julia moving up, and I'm going to tell you, I think I know why they did it when they did it, because Julia over the past 2 weeks took some nasty bumps on NXT. One where she just got planted on the top of her head. And then with Jordan Grace, now that one's just a rough match. They were working a little stiff in that one. But I don't blame WWE one bit after they saw what could be their future cash cow getting her head smashed into the ground and saying, you know what, let's just get her the hell out of there and get her on the main roster and keep her up with Roxanne Perez and let's just go.
Yeah, they and that was, they've been talking about this since WrestleMania, that both Roxanne Perez and Julia would be moving up the main roster. It looks like Julia is going to be on SmackDown. I would suspect Roxanne goes to Raw. And I'm happy for Roxanne, Texas product, coming out of Laredo, coming out of Reality Wrestling down in Texas City under Booker T. So yeah, good on them. Yeah, Julia took some serious bumps. I don't know, because I always envision, the Japanese style of wrestling is a little stiffer. So I gotta imagine, whether it was in Stardom or Marigold, that she took some bumps there too. But you're right. WWE saw that, says, hey, let's get her on SmackDown. I do think a little bit has to do with the simple fact that, well, Tiffany Stratton's gone through a few challengers. Let's bring her up and make a, at least an interesting challenge for that WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah. So we'll see the future of Julia as she now goes to SmackDown. Jeff Cobb is now JC Mateo. Really? Really? It's time to bring back the name generator. That we had that on the show a few years ago. We're going to bring back that random name generator, even though JC is Jeff Cobb, but
yeah,
Mateo. Okay.
That makes no, now look, he was Matanza Cueto in Lucha Underground, so maybe they decided to take Matanza Cueto,
smash
together. Look, I talked about this last week. I love Jeff to death. He's a friend. I've seen him live numerous times. One of the strongest individuals in wrestling, so I'm happy for him. Yeah, kind of odd. I wish they had just kept it to the big JC. If they had kept that, okay, fine. That sure, why not? They don't want to use Jeff Cobb, and maybe Jeff doesn't want him to use Jeff Cobb because then he can't use it.
So why did they use it when he debuted? That's the thing. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you say, "Oh, that's Jeff Cobb," and now he's JC Mateo? That's an error.
Yeah, that was weird. I think I don't know. I think it was a
Nobody knows.
because we've had they mentioned him once. They mentioned his name once. So maybe it was okay, let's acknowledge because the fans, recognized him. You got a little bit, WWE fans, I think, watch a little more non-WWE programming, whether it's AEW, whether it's New Japan. And Jeff Cobb spent the last 5-6 years in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So they knew who he was. So I think it was needed for the commentators to acknowledge, yes, that's Jeff Cobb.
Yeah. So
and then going forward, he's now known as the Big JC. Again, if they left it just that's fine. That would be fine. Added the Mateo thing is meaningless, but oh well.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. We had some SmackDown qualifying matches for Money in the Bank, and kind of blew up the internet with the ladies one. A lot of people not happy as we had Alexa Bliss taking on Chelsea Green and Michin, and Alexa Bliss advances. And a lot of people are wondering, why the hell did we have Alexa Bliss and Chelsea Green in the same match and knock one of them out of Money in the Bank? I think it was a bad idea. Chelsea should be in this match, and now she's not. She already got screwed at WrestleMania. Now, again, is not going to be in a match where I think people would have really enjoyed having her. And if you remember, her last performance in a Money in the Bank match was pretty freaking awesome. So I don't like this at all, Stu Myrick. Not at all.
If anything, I think her being in Money in the Bank last year basically kind of exploded her status as far as fans go.
Absolutely.
That's what got her on this rocket ship that ended up with her winning the women's U.S. title and everything and the popularity. It was an interesting choice. I think those, the boys in the back, the creative, I think they overestimate Alexa Bliss's popularity, exposure. I think they didn't realize that most fans were expecting her to link up with the Wyatt Six, which, by the way, we haven't seen hide no hair of the Wyatt Six. As far as we know, they're gone. We don't. I mean, they're just not there anymore. So I think that coupled with keeping Chelsea Green out, that got the fans a little riled up.
And then we had a men's qualifier match. Solo Sikoa takes out Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso. And Solo looked pretty good in this match. Going to get him a shot at the Money in the Bank. But there was a concern that I brought up at WrestleMania, Stu, that Rey Fenix getting stuck into that match with El Grande Americano, hopefully soon to be world champion, may have hurt Rey. And all of a sudden, Rey Fenix is losing matches since then. Is this going to be a problem, Stu?
I really hope not. There's been some talk. If you read the reports, there's some talk that it is expected that the Lucha Brothers will reunite. So maybe they're saving it for the tag matches. Look, Penta suffered a few losses as well. Yeah, he got a win this past week, but he suffered a few losses as well. So, maybe that is the direction they're going to go. As far as Solo goes, yeah, he's in the match. They got to get at least 5 more people in that match, and who those 5 people are on both sides, I guess we'll see. I am not. In fact, I don't think I've heard anything about the qualifying. There's supposed to be qualifying matches tomorrow night on Raw.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them. I've got them.
You got them. Okay,
I do. So the women's side is Charlotte Flair, Julia, and Zelina Vega. And then the men's is LA Knight, Aleister Black, and Shinsuke Nakamura. An intriguing women's match. Getting Charlotte in there with Julia. Man, I would have kept them apart, those two. I would have kept them apart. That is a showdown that should have been held for another 6 months to a year.
Yeah, they teased actually a little bit of that. Julia was standing there, Charlotte Flair coming out of which, okay, hold on. If that's on Raw, they're both SmackDown wrestlers because Charlotte Flair was seen coming out of Nick Aldis's office, and there's Julia giving her the glance.
Yeah, it may be a SmackDown match, but it was.
I guess maybe but then again, I don't think brands matter much anymore. So, yeah, interesting that they put those two in the same match. And then you said LA Knight, Shinsuke, and
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black. Okay,
so somebody's getting jobbed out there. Interesting spot for LA Knight.
I got a feeling Nakamura will eat the pin. Now,
yeah,
who does the pinning? I could see a case for either one. You just debuted Aleister Black. He's on that, let's build him up. So maybe it's Aleister Black. But I don't know. And again, we still got to fill out those matches. So we got to see who ends up in those matches coming up on June 7th.
Yep. So we'll see how this goes with the Money in the Bank qualifiers. And before we hit break, one other little thing with WWE I wanted to hit before we start talking about Saturday night's main event. CM Punk got pulled off the Night of Champions promo. And, from a guy who was absolutely tearing apart The Miz a while back for going into Saudi Arabia, and I will not read the vulgar comment that Punk made on AEW. It's interesting that Punk now said, I'm open to going to Saudi Arabia. I'm open to going, but they took him off the promo stuff. Did CM Punk actually show up in this? And if he does, doesn't that make him a little bit of a hypocrite?
We'll see. So Saudi Arabia, that's Night of Champions. That's in
end of June, I believe. Yeah.
Late June. So you got a little ways. Interesting that they pulled CM Punk off the promo materials for Night of Champions. Does he make his way to Saudi?
Boy, that would be stunning if he did.
It would be. And yeah, you think back to the comments he made when he was still in AEW about those shows. Yeah, if he ends up in Saudi, there's a lot of people going to be pulling up, they're going to be reposting that, that clip from AEW.
Yeah,
and so
yeah, they got into it on Twitter, and I can't read it. But
no, I mean, look,
it was bad. He said something very vulgar to Miz about this thing.
Yeah, he railed on WWE for taking the money from Saudi, which, look, we've been doing that since this whole thing started with Saudi Arabia and WWE. But nevertheless, he railed on him in a very vulgar way. Now, does it appear like he may be heading to Saudi Arabia to participate in one of those shows?
Jeez.
If it does, man, internet wrestling community is going to have a field day with that.
Yes, they are. All right, let's get to break. And when we come back, Saturday night's main event. Getting interesting. That's coming up this weekend, too. So brace yourself as John Cena will have to face off with someone who said he was his boyhood hero. Oh, it's going to be tough, man. Tough night. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
This is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer. Now through June 2nd, we have a great selection of Camrys, Corollas, Tundras, and more.
I'm a pet sitter, and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Your summer starts here. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Enjoy Jerry's Nugget Steak and Shrimp Special for only $16.89. This combo is a taste sensation. Come savor the goodness as you slice into a juicy 8-ounce New York steak cooked to order. Then let the succulent, freshly prepared pan-fried shrimp melt in your mouth. So good. Jerry's Steak and Shrimp is served 7 days a week, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., and comes with a choice of soup of the day or house salad, choice of potato, and garlic bread. Bring the family and enjoy.
Jerry's Nugget Casino, your kind of place.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning. Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment, coming to you live from Sin City. Hey, EDC guys, wake up! They didn't have a good night last night, Stu Myrick. Not at all.
What? Who did you call out?
The Electric Daisy Carnival people.
Oh, EDC. Okay.
Yeah, who were stuck in that miserable weather last night at the festival. Hopefully they did enough drugs to get over it. But anyway, hey, I'm going to bring in a couple friends of mine to the show. Going to say hi to a guy who's been on here a few times before. Let's welcome in Ash Arkell. Ash, how are you, sir?
Bonjour. Good morning, Las Vegas.
Bonjour. Been hanging out with Stephanie Vacour, I think.
No, I'm a bit French.
No, you're a bit French. Yeah, that's not what she said. But anyway, also bringing a guy who's going to be regular on the show here, Danny Potion. Welcoming him in. Danny, how are you, sir?
What's going on, gentlemen? I stayed inside, so luckily I wasn't getting blown away with the EDC people. So that's why we're here today.
Good decision, sir. Yes. Very good decision. All right, so we're going to get into the Saturday night's main event. And while most of the outcomes are probably pretty much settled here, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We've got Logan Paul against Jey Uso for the World Championship. We got a steel cage match, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. We've got Punk and Zayn taking on Rollins and Braun Breaker. And John Cena will face the guy that was looking up to him since he was just a little Jimmy. R-Truth will get a shot at the Undisputed Championship. Danny, I'll give it to you first. How excited are you about this card?
It's a little bit all over the place, and I'm just kind of checking it out right now. I've been out the loop, to be honest with you, for wrestling for maybe a couple months, but with the lead up to WrestleMania, I was there live. It got the juices flowing, so I'm back in the mix. I'm excited to see, as funny as it sounds, Logan Paul kind of unveil the curtain of what he can do. I mean, we all know him as an athletic wrestler. He's a great talent, great on the mic, which is, it's different than taking the long road, which every other wrestler in the industry has needed to take for the last, decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. So with, the introduction of social media and things like that, it allows somebody else to come outside the industry and kind of shake things up. I'm excited to see the results of that one in particular, because it could be a big swing in how the W can just kind of move on through the events that are going into SummerSlam. So I'm excited for that. Of course, John Cena versus John Cena, Black John Cena, essentially, which is really interesting to me. That's going to be a fun match. I can always enjoy some R-Truth on there, and then everything else in the mix. I like what we got going on.
Ash,
yo,
how happy are you for R-Truth finally getting a world championship opportunity?
R-Truth just doesn't seem to age, does he?
No.
And to the fact, like, how old is he? He's over 50, right?
Yeah, he's up there.
He's up there.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. But the thing that I'm kind of getting a bit annoyed with professional wrestling, including WWE at the moment, is these young talent need to step up, because it's full of the old guys. We just had Orton and Cena. And now we're getting R-Truth and Cena. This is like what was it called? No, it wasn't Capital Carnage. It was that pay-per-view they did way back in 2011.
It wasn't Punishment. What was that, Stu?
Capital Punishment. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
Stu?
I think it
was it Capital Punishment?
Yeah, something like that. It was in DC, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when somehow R-Truth got a world championship opportunity back then. But God, how long ago was that? I'm gonna have to look that up real quick.
Whole kids are in high school now. It's that long ago, they're going to prom and we're getting it again, Danny.
I'd take it. I'll take it. R-Truth on any card is going to be, it's main event worthy. He's going to show up. He's going to do his thing, and a couple 5-finger knuckles to the shuffle, and why not? Everybody's going to be entertained.
Yeah, Stu, this is going to be. I think this is just going to be a fun match. And I think it's good for Saturday night's main event.
It is. Let's not forget, R-Truth, former 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion as well. Have they made it official that this is for the title? Because the impression I got is that it's a non-title match. Now, I mean, if it's for the title, fine, that's great, and it probably wouldn't change the result anyway. Logan Paul and Jey Uso. Look, I'm an old school guy. I'm old. I'm probably the senior man here. I don't want Logan Paul anywhere near that world title.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Not give it to him. This will be. It's not on the level of David Arquette, but
come on, Stu.
It is damn close.
Stu, you are letting your Logan Paul hate blind you.
I can't stand him. I'm sorry. Look, I'm 56 years old. I don't watch YouTube except to catch up on wrestling. I couldn't care less about Logan Paul's show.
But it's the new era,
and his drink is
Prime is good.
It's
like something I just put in a toilet a little bit.
10% coconut water. He was just on YouTube going through his whole factory on how Prime is made. And to be fair, I was pretty shocked, and I'm kind of sold on Prime. Went out with Joey, went to Walmart, bought 2 cases, got me some W spray. Been watching Paul American all 8 episodes. Unbelievable
Product placement.
They're marketing gurus. Like, I'm sold on the Pauls now, Stu. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I'm sold on them. He's the new megastar.
I'm older. I couldn't care less. I'm sure they will have a fine match. I'm sure Logan Paul will do stuff that makes everybody go, wow. I just don't want him as world champion.
I see him
Simple
in
as
Boston pinning Cena for the title at the end of this year.
Wow. By the way, it was announced that it will be his last match on December 13th. They have not officially announced the site yet, though.
Right.
It's apparently still up for bids. But yeah, that is going to be John's last match. But I want to bounce something off you guys because a friend of mine made a post last week, and I'm glad we have multiple people here to discuss this possibility. He was watching the Backlash pay-per-view, and his thought as the match was wrapping up was he was waiting for Goldberg to come out because he thought that Goldberg was going to get set up to face John Cena. I ask you this, guys. Would you be excited at all to get, for old time's sake, John Cena against Bill Goldberg for the WWE Undisputed Championship? Would it be fun? Would it be an abomination? What do you think? Danny, let me ask you first.
Interested, yes. Excited might be a stretch, but I definitely would be interested. Anytime we get to see Bill Goldberg in the ring would be interesting to watch, just to see how it'll play out. We saw him, in the Undertaker match, and it had its moments. There were moments, memorable.
Yeah, Undertaker
moments.
nearly breaking his neck.
right. There were memorable moments. But it's still Goldberg at the end of the day. He's going to draw a lot of attention. I don't know if I would expect a good match or just, the theater of the moment. I would be interested, excited, maybe. We'll see.
Stu, John Cena against Bill Goldberg.
Okay, that's odd because the rumor has been Goldberg versus Gunther. That's been the rumor for a while because Goldberg is supposed to be setting up his retirement match. Goldberg Cena, it could draw some eyes. It can't be. Do not go longer than 5-6 minutes.
That's still too long.
Goldberg can't go. Look, Goldberg, fantastic as a Georgia Bulldog back in the day, college football. But he can't do more than 5-6 minutes. We learned that. Look again. I'll say it was a disaster match with him and Undertaker in Saudi. Goldberg Cena, sure, it'll draw eyes. Have it go short. Have it go 6 minutes. Then okay, sure.
I think it could be okay. Like it says, as long as you keep it short, and the way that John has been wrestling these matches, very slow, very methodical. I think they could pull it off. And boy, I'll tell you what, you would get some serious attention for that, Ash.
Riyadh, put it on in Riyadh because they're the ones that are like, we want to see the Goldberg and the John Cena. Put it there. Do it in Riyadh because that's the only place where it's going to get over. And it gives him redemption for the last time he was in Riyadh, as Stu said, where he nearly killed the Undertaker. Put it on in Riyadh. Let it go 5 minutes. Let the crowd have what they want in their fancy luxury seats, and then get the hell out of there. But putting it on a major pay-per-view like a SummerSlam over here in the States, hell to the nah.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it would be fascinating to put the two of them in a ring together just because of who they are, the names, the dominance that they've had. And I know Joel was kind of joking around, but I think it's an okay idea. I really do. I would.
Yeah, but that's all it is. Just okay. That's why I think it belongs on something like a crown jewel.
Yeah, a crown jewel, or stick it in Money in the Bank.
Something fun, mid card. I'll take one more spear. I'll take one more lull of a jackhammer.
I'll take a Braun Breaker spear on Goldberg, ending Goldberg in his
We're
last
blessed
match.
for Braun Breakers.
Oh my god,
insane!
Thank you,
humanity.
Thank you.
But
the genetics.
I'll take one more. Yeah, I'll take one more origination of it.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd bring that up. I thought it was a fascinating little topic to hit there. So yeah, Goldberg Cena. But
you said you were going to start a fight, and
well,
that was the conversation that's going to. No, the fight.
I thought you guys were going to tell me to go jump in the lake.
Is the big topic that's going to cause a fight on this show.
Yeah, Logan Paul. Go ahead, Stu. You want to say?
No, I was just going to say I don't know what caused the fight. Look, it's wrestling. No, there should be nothing causing a fight. I'm just, I have my feelings on Logan Paul, and that's fine. I know he's popular. I know that he gets 40 million YouTube views or whatever the hell it is. That's fine. I get it. I get that. I just, again, I'm too old. I am not his demographic.
Seasoned. We'll say seasoned, Stu.
Well seasoned.
Well
Sure.
seasoned.
Okay. I'll take that. Sure.
Fascinating. Of course, we're on the Mark Hoke Show here. Danny Potion, Ash Arkell, and Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, hanging out and just going crazy, figuring out John Cena's retirement tour here. We should just book it. What do you think, Ash? Ash, book that.
Book it. Okay, we start with R-Truth this month.
Yep.
Then we move on to every other old guy he's ever fought.
We already got Randy.
Everybody gets nostalgic. Everybody gets teary-eyed at the end, even though he's heel. Nah, can't do that. I think we got to put John Cena there with new guys like Logan Paul and start building up the next generation. That's what we have to do. I want to see John Cena in there with people like Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. I want to see him in there with even a Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Well,
let's make fights.
This is a retirement tour, and allegedly, and the whispers have started now, it's a retirement tour. So you got to turn him babyface eventually, because that's the way retirement tours go. Look at Tanahashi in New Japan. You're not turning him heel. He's the ace. You got to have Cena make kind of a redemption. There's the talk of giving Cody back the title eventually. There's wherever that happens. And the other thing is seeing him against the younger guys. Here's the problem with that. It has been painfully obvious. Cena's lost a step.
Yeah, he can't go anymore.
Yeah, don't put him with the younger guys.
The Skechers only have so much cushion.
Are going to boat race him. Give him the Randy Ortons and the
greatest hits.
Right. Do the greatest hits. Have him turn babyface eventually. Again, after I still have the scenario. Cena loses the title. I'll say to Cody, Rock is there. Rock comes down, acts like he's going to comfort Cena and then hits him, with a rock bottom or whatever. And then we get Cena Rock, towards the end, which
I like it. Stu's onto something.
Back-to-back WrestleMania matches. So let's do that.
Danny, should that be the main event at Survivor Series? Because they're doing it at Petco. So you've got to sell a lot of tickets for that.
Yeah.
Do we get Cena Rock 3 at Survivor Series?
It has to be, right? And Petco's a beautiful stadium, a beautiful arena. Stu might have just cooked it up because I noticed at least, and I know it's been talk on Twitter when he was outside the ring and kind of just soaking in the moment. And it looked like he was questioning his decision to, go heel and things like that. It was such a cool moment because he's doing that slow walk and his face is kind of just a myriad of emotions. And I think he's slowly scratching the surface of like, do I want to be here representing, this side of the industry? Do I want to be Mr. Most Hated? And I think it slowly turns into what Stu's talking about where, what was it? The corporation or what it used to be is like, okay, you could put on that facade, but who are you really? And we all know John Cena is Mr. Mr. Hustle and respect, right. And so Stu probably couldn't have painted it any better. It has to be something big like that. And Rock Cena 3 at Petco just sounds like the right one.
And it speaks to the notion that Cena is just playing a role right now. He's not committed to do. He's not believable as a heel. Which and look, and I've said it before. The whole blaming the fan things that what he has based it on. That's an old and tired trope. We heard it with Becky Lynch, and that was and the fans tried to what her out of the building, shall we say. It's an old trope. It should be thrown in the bin along with the heel general manager or heel authority figure. Just come up with another reason to turn heel. Don't blame the fans. That's just silly.
And this might be a good way of getting into that, of pushing this trope out of there. Like he looks robotic. He looks like a robot. Even I was super excited when I saw just the black and white, just capital letters, John Cena. You get nothing and you'll like it kind of approach. And that's where we're at. But he's like I have the most colorful T-shirts on the website every single time. Like, this isn't him, and I think he's slowly peeling that back. And this is a interesting way of using the trope, and Cena's like, okay, one, this trope isn't for me. Two, it's not really for anybody. Let's put this in the closet where it belongs, and unveil the truth.
Yeah, when he was doing that whole like, this is my music, I'm keeping my shtick. Everybody wanted the dark Darth Vader, John Cena, and the bad man.
Great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I wish John would have changed it up, but it is what it is. We'll see where this whole thing turns out with John Cena. But we are going to take a break, and when we come back, Hulk Hogan wants to get into another business. We had video game fighting because I made a mistake and forgot to talk about it. We're going to get into that. Natty got into a fight, and we're going to talk a little kissing before the show ends. It's going to be fun. Ash Arkell's shaking his head.
Nobody.
We'll be right back.
Here in the desert, air conditioning isn't a luxury. It's a must. And your friends at Air Supply are here to help you stay comfortable. We've been serving Nevada homeowners with 5-star service for over 20 years. And we want to earn your business. Right now, new customers can save a cool $50 off our professional AC tune-up. Call us today at 328-0888. That's 328-0888. Or visit us online at airsupply.vegas. At Air Supply, you can always expect a higher level of service.
Let me ask you a little question here tonight. How many people here were raised on old rock and roll?
They're back by overwhelming demand. The showroom at South Point presents the Righteous Brothers. May 20th to the 22nd. Tickets at the door. Online at southpointcasino.com or charge by phone 702-797-8055. The Righteous Brothers at the South Point.
We're not leaving the station. We've sung every song we know.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. Smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Lowe's knows how to bring the heat with Memorial Day savings. Right now, select paint, primer, and stains, or buy one, get one 50% off via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get 2 select 1.5-gallon annuals hanging baskets for just $20. Shop these Memorial Day deals before they're gone. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/28. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Annuals offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Got a lot of people in the studio and having to bang around on the board here. I feel like I'm playing piano again.
I know you got the 2 young guys and you guys, the wise men, are wise men.
He is wise.
He's very wise.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Stu's
got
got
about Stu, not you.
Wow. You're a terrible human being, Ash Arkell, but that's all right. It's okay. We love you anyway.
Thank you. Someone's got to.
NWA Crockett Cup happened last night, and of course the big thing was Natty was there, Natty Neidhart, and she did lose her match to Kenzie Page, but went after a fan. I'm sure it was planned out, but Stu, are you liking the new Natty? This extra persona? I'm loving it. I think this is great. Just beat people up all over the place.
Just the fact she got to wrestle in the NWA is I enjoy that. As far as the new Natty, I'm not sure it's a new Natty. It's more of we've seen it before, but we haven't seen it in a while. So that's good. Yeah, she took the pinfall to Kenzie Page. Kenzie Page still the NWA Women's World Champion. She still holds the Burke, as they call it. I hope we see Natty, though, compete a little more in the NWA. Maybe she forms a tag team, goes after those women's tag titles.
Well, Danny, I think it's interesting, too, that Natty just what we're talking about with John Cena, not going dark and just keeping the same scheme. Natty, when she's showing up at Bloodsport and events like this, she's not Natalya. This is a distinct new personality that I think is fantastic.
Yeah, even I'm looking at the kit and it's just plain black, big capital pink, Natty on the side, loving the shoes. And she smacked fire out of this fan just to kind of mix it up. I'm watching it right now from Malcolm Muscle's account. It looks nasty. And it's just the evolution of, you've been in the business for so long. How can you stay fresh? How can you stay new? How can you keep your love of what you got going on? New promotion, new style, new presentation. And we can always trust Natty and the formerly known as Natalya. Is she going by Natty? Natty's just the new wave, or is she going by Natalya in NWA as well?
Not Natalya in anywhere else. She's just saving that for WWE.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, Ash, on the business side, NWA got a new streaming deal. They're going to be on that new, and unfortunately, I can't find it in my notes, but they're going to be on a new streaming company that's doing 24-hour wrestling. Does this make a difference for the NWA to get a streaming deal?
I think it makes a difference now that WWE aren't monopolizing everything, even though they kind of are. They're buying everything up, and now they're doing this thing with AAA. NWA, new streaming platform.
It's called Fast Channel, by the way.
Fast Channel.
Yeah, they've got that. And
I've
I've
got it here in my notes in front of me. Because somebody does their homework. Thank you very much.
I have my homework here. I just couldn't find the paper.
Okay, boss.
It was stuck in the backpack.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, wrestling needs to be. I think wrestling should go back to the territory days, but that's me. This whole new streaming deal, from a business standpoint, unbelievable, and the crossover with WWE talent giving other people some notoriety in the sense that now you've got stars like Natty going against people and bringing more exposure to them. Incredible. I mean, the more exposure for pro wrestling, the more we have work and more things to talk about, right? So great for business.
Absolutely. So we'll see if this ups the NWA's profile. Now, speaking of people crossing over, and I hyped this a couple of times during the show last week, and somehow I screwed up, and I think it was the Sabu thing that kind of threw us off. But at the PAX East, it's just the Penny Arcade Expo video games, Xavier Woods and Kenny Omega got into it. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Kenny cuts a promo tearing Woods apart and then proceeds to beat him on SNK versus Capcom and trash talk him, saying, "You can't win." And well, he couldn't. But it was a lot of fun, and getting some more mainstream exposure for pro wrestling. But I got to tell you, it kind of just made me wish that you could do something with WWE and AEW and do some crossovers and get away with it. I don't know if it could ever happen, but it was just fun seeing somebody from AEW and somebody from WWE interacting like they did. And it was a blast. Danny, what'd you think of that whole thing?
I mean, one thing that brings everybody together, at least, us nerds, at least that are in the wrestling industry, I definitely am, is video games. And so, especially with WWE has had a long history of great video games, terrible video games, but they've been in the industry. AEW scratched the surface with their Fight Forever video game as well. And it's super funny that Kenny Omega, he's super heavily involved in video games to the point where he's a character actually in some of these games that have came out, a Yakuza game that came out. He plays a voice in the Devil May Cry Netflix series. just recently. So he's heavily involved in the video game industry. He's just like all of us. And Xavier Woods, I believe WWE was doing some 2K series, and he would always pop up as well. And so it's kind of a cool mesh to see the same world, two different sides of the business, but at least the same world kind of clash together. And I would personally love to just see a random Xavier Woods at an AEW pay-per-view, or Kenny Omega has been rumored to do some sort of WWE or WrestleMania moment for the longest time. He's one of the best superstars for good reason. He's 5-star all over the place, and the roof would come off the building if anything Kenny Omega related were to pop up at WWE. So I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah, literally. I would throw myself out of a window if I could. But I love it. I'm a fan of these crossover things where, you know, and Stu can maybe give his side of it, where things are like this on this side and things are like that on that side. But when you can kind of, you know, maybe rip a page out of a book and just kind of blend things together, I think it's good for everybody if done right.
Yeah, you're right. And look, I'm not a gamer. I could barely play Pac-Man when I was a kid. So, but yeah, having these moments like with Kenny and Xavier, you think back a few years ago, it was actually the Elite and the New Day when they were still, you know, a fun trio. That was a lot of fun to watch. And now with Kenny and Xavier, do we ever see it spill into a ring? It'd be great. It would be fun. I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but sure, I'd love to see something like that happen somewhere down the road.
There you go. Well, Ash, I want to hit you with this one because your good friend Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Terrence.
Terry wants to buy Hooters.
Oh my!
What do you?
There's me thinking you were
think?
going to go real American freestyle, and now you've hit me with Hooters.
That's the fight you wanted for. That's the fight you asked for.
He wants to kind of brand it along with the beer and go for it.
The first
Hulk Hogan and Hooters. Is it a good combo, Ash?
It's a Clearwater thing. I mean, the first original Hooters is on. It's in Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got Hogan's Hangout. There used to be Hogan's Beach back in the day. If anybody remembers Hogan's Beach, it's probably one of my favorite spots because we all got to go and drink there for free. But yeah, dude, Clearwater, like Hooters, it's a staple. And it's probably, you know, something that's, you know, after his heart, you know, good looking blondes walking around with some good assets to them. It fits Terry's vibe. You know, he's a Tampa Beach guy through and through. I think, for me, being, you know, I call myself a Las Vegas local, but I was a Tampa Bay Pirate at one point, and or a Buccaneer, should I say? If you know the vibe, if you know him as a person, it's a marriage, a perfect marriage.
Hogan's Hooters.
I don't think they'd add Hogan to it.
That might be a little strong.
That might be a little strong.
It does have a nice ring to it, but it comes off strong.
Stu, we had a guy, and I'll throw this over, but Stu first. We had a lot of kissing issues this week, in case you didn't notice. Harley Cameron kissed Anna Jay's butt after a match this week.
Let me just get on YouTube real quick.
And Saraya, someone Ash knows fairly well.
Who?
Saraya, you've heard of her?
Nah, never heard of her.
Insisted that someone at a convention tried to kiss her on the mouth while they're trying to get an autograph, and insisted no kisses on the mouth. Stu, was good kiss, bad kiss, both bad kisses? What do you think?
Look, Harley and Anna Jay, that's fine. As far as what happened, Soraya, wrestling fans, for the love of God, act like decent human beings when you're around the wrestlers. Don't be stupid. All right?
Danny, you can't.
And by the way, I don't want Hulk Hogan anywhere near the Hooters because. And look, I don't talk politics, but I will just say I'm a blue man in a red state. I don't want Hooters to become like Trump Central. Last thing I need to see is his orange face with all that orange.
Oh, dear God. Danny, do you approve of the kissing one way or the other here?
It's a fine line. Definitely not in a professional setting or a meet and greet, anything like that where the curtain is pulled back.
I approve of that.
I think everybody approves of that one.
Ash, can I kiss your sister?
No one can.
Fair enough.
Unless she says they can.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Hey, great show today. Thanks to Coach Rosie, Stu Myrick, Ash Arkell, Danny Potion. Really appreciate all you guys joining us today. Had a blast. You can catch Stu Myrick on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We'll see these other two goofballs later on down the road. God bless them. And follow us on Twitter X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Certainly appreciate the likes, the follows, the subscribes, all the clicks you can do. Just get it done. We'll see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show, everybody, here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Have a great day, everybody. Want more of the Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.